She needs to be seeing your relationship as something she needs to protect. And that's what you need to convey to her. All right. Men and women are not friends in the same way that two men are friends or two women are friends. Okay. There's an evolutionary process and wiring that's involved, excuse me. And our brains evolve differently due to sexual selection and strategies. So men and women are not the same, and male female friendships are not the same as two men or two women. Now, I'm not saying there can't be a platonic thing there. That's some stuff people go in crazy la la land with some of the outrage marketing with red pill, black pill, whatever, and it's nonsense, right? Because I have plenty of platonic, female relationships. You can have those things. That's fine. But there are boundaries that have to happen in those relationships. And here's the thing. Her responsibility is those boundaries. Having appropriate boundaries with other men, that is her responsibility. Her problems are her responsibility, and protecting the relationship and having healthy boundaries are her responsibility. What the part that's your responsibility in this case is the level of commitment and energy and time that you put into her. So for me, I don't recommend getting into a relationship until you are positive that she has healthy boundaries with other men. Look, this idea of I'm going to be aloof and not challenge, unhealthy boundaries because then I won't look insecure or beta and then she's going to come back to me. Well, that's kind of a wrong one, right? It's not to say that you act insecure about her relationships with other men. It's just that you need to expect healthy boundaries. And if she's not demonstrating that, then you demonstrate that you're not interested in a commitment. And if she wonders why, you just simply say, look, you have a lot of you have a lot of relationships with other men that to me go past what I would consider healthy if you want to be in a commitment with me. And if you need some clarification, we can talk about that, but that's my issue right now. And so then she'll get angry and indignant and justify those relationships. And you tell her that you don't care. Okay. I understand, and maybe you don't feel that way about him, but listen, here's my expectation, right? And that's it. And it's not really much of a discussion. You can just listen to her and go, okay, I get it. Well, I disagree, and that's what it is. And of course, never have a discussion with a woman. I'm super alpha, right? No, that's bullshit. Okay. You can't have covert contracts with women either. All right. That's a no more Mr. Nice Guy reference. So you want to express the standard. You want to listen to her and understand it. And if in light of new information, not because you're being manipulated into it, not because you're weak in your standards, right? And you're negotiating or compromising, you're not going to negotiate or compromise. But I have a set of standards that I have. And then let's say I get some new information. That new information makes me realize that the standard I have needs to be shifted or changed a little bit. Well, I'm going to make that change. I'm not going to keep doing something that's less optimal or less correct, right? And so you're the decision maker, you're the alpha, this is what you do, all right? But she needs to understand appropriate boundaries and understand too, so you know what to look for. Appropriate boundaries are where you understand the three categories of friendships and you understand where those relationships are, the nature of those, and you watch her execute boundaries accordingly. So category number one is the rarest of them all. And these are guys who see her as more of a member of the tribe, like a family member. And so those friendships, he looks at her like a sister almost. Okay. Now, women will be deceptive and try to say that all of her guy friends look at her like that. And she's just one of the guys. That is BS, and she knows it. All right. There's only going to be a select number of people in a girl's life where if she was drunk and he was drunk and her legs are spread wide open, she was like, I need it right now. He would say, you're crazy. Stop it. and sober up, and I'm going to sober up and we'll talk about how crazy you are in the morning. If she got that, if she sent that text to that dude, come over and bang me, I'm horny, he would respond, what the hell is wrong with you? Stop texting me. You're weird. I'll talk to you later. This is a guy who would reject her because he doesn't, it would be like his sister asking for it. You know what I mean? And so he just doesn't look at it that way. How often does that happen though? It's pretty rare. Okay. And so I'm not saying it doesn't happen though, because it certainly does. And so that's a guy who sees her, he's put her in a category of not being in a sexual option. He's part of her tribe and exists in a different place. And it would take him a lot of effort. It would take a lot of effort to change those conditions. Okay. A lot of very overt effort on her part. And she's not, trying to do that necessarily with that guy because she sees him that way. Women are also very good at categorizing where men are in their life. She knows to a degree what men to a degree, she knows what men would be a sexual option. I wouldn't say what would be a sexual option, but she knows what men would not be. We'll put it like that. So when a guy is put in the friend zone and she means it, she does mean it. That's part of women being more sexually selective. Okay. And so the second category of friends are guys that have settled for the friendship. At some point, they wanted to bang her, and maybe a small part of them still does, but they're what we would call good guys, and they're not going to compromise the friendship and compromise their social standing and maybe compromise some of their values to sleep with someone, even if she asked for it, right? But if she asked hard enough, they would definitely say yes. It wouldn't take much convincing for that guy to sleep with her, okay? But he suspends his sexual desire to want to sleep with every woman, okay, for that particular woman, to put the value of that friendship first. There are guys that do that. Again, if she was asking for it, he probably would break down those barriers very quickly. It's not like the guy who sees her as a sister. That guy is not breaking those walls for much of a reason. It would take a lot. For this guy who's in that friend zone category and they're actually platonic, he's not hitting on her. He's not trying to cross boundaries. He's not overtly trying to do stuff. He doesn't really think about stuff like that. He thinks more about being a good guy to her. And yet, if she were to give him that opportunity, he would probably take it. Now, there's a different set of boundaries she has with those guys, which means not to send signals that she might be interested in something more than a platonic relationship. Okay. And so she needs to be careful with those boundaries, more careful than the other guy. Okay. And so she's careful what she tells him and what kind of relationship they have. But she can still have that friendship. You know what I mean? That male-female platonic friendship. And then there's the third category, which is the male orbiters. These are guys that want to have sex with her. And they're usually acquaintances and not really friends. She might call them friends, but they're not people that she talks to very often. And so with that, these are guys that, she has to set harder boundaries with. She's not inviting these guys over one-on-one. She might have one of them do a favor for her here or there, but she's not really signaling. She's being careful to not use the fact that she knows that she has a vagina and this guy would take advantage of it. She's being careful not to signal those things out of respect for your relationship. She doesn't get she doesn't have this dude hang out with her by herself. You know what I mean? She doesn't go on dates with that guy. We won't call them dates, but where she's out with that dude by herself. She doesn't have that guy come over and crash, and she's probably not calling that guy over to do projects for her either for free. You see what I mean? Because she would know that that's a covert contract and that that's inappropriate for the current relationship that she's in. Now, granted, if the guy is like her brother and there's nothing that would ever happen, that's different. You know what I mean? Say the guy's married and she's friends with the wife, she's friends with him, and he does not see her as a sexual option and she maintains appropriate boundaries. He comes over and he does some stuff. Cool. All right, that's fine. But otherwise, she's more careful about even appearances and what it looks like. because she knows that the appearance of impropriety connotates disrespect for her partner and disregard for her partner. And if she is into you and sees you as the best sexual option she can get with, and she wants that commitment in that relationship, she is not violating that. She's not going to give the appearance that she would invite that into her life. She's not giving other people the appearance, okay, that she would, that she might have something going on with someone else. Her point of pride is that I'm with this dude because she's proud of that guy, proud of the relationship. So she wouldn't want to give the appearance to other people that, maybe this guy could get in there. And she's careful about that. And so these are the appropriate boundaries. Now, if she doesn't have these boundaries, then that's a problem. That means she's not ready for a relationship. Okay. She's not ready for a healthy one. If she knows that this orbiter is a threat to you and a threat to the relationship, and she's going to call him for help because you wouldn't help, and that's being manipulative. That's being manipulative in a way that you need to set boundaries against and not allow that to happen. So now the question is, in this scenario, what do you do? Well, her problems are her problems. You don't have time to deal with it. If you made a promise to her and said, I'll do it, you need to retract that. Okay. Own it. Own the mistake. Okay. Hey, you know what? I said that and I really shouldn't have because I'm so busy with my work right now. All right. I didn't mean to do that. I do want to help you, and that's why I said it, but I shouldn't have done that. Okay. Because I can't really help you with that. If she's mad at you over it, right? If she's not, and she's just saying, well, I'll do it myself. Okay, cool. That's probably best because I'm just way too busy with work. Can't wait to see how it turns out though. And that's your answer. If she calls an orbiter that she knows wants a sexual relationship with her, and she doesn't have appropriate boundaries with that guy, well, if that's what she's doing and she has that guy over, I would simply withdraw my attention and time. And I'd say, hey, look, I'm really not comfortable. I don't mind that this guy's helping you, but the nature of this relationship with this guy, you're going to have to tell me more about that so I understand it, because to me, it seems like he wants to have a sexual relationship with you and you're using that so he can do your garage for you. I'm not okay with that. And so that's what you say to her, and so she's not going to like that. And who gives a shit? Who cares? All right. She needed to know these boundaries, and then the conversation, you'll figure out more about it. And she's probably going to try to justify her actions. The point of the matter is you have to dig into that. And then you just tell her, listen, I don't accept inappropriate boundaries. Let's say this guy, if they've had a sexual relationship before, or if he's tried to, you say, listen, this is a guy who's been trying to hook up with you and he hasn't respected your relationship. You've been with me for a couple of years now. How come I haven't met him? How come we haven't hung out? If you guys are such good friends, how come, that's not happening? Because he doesn't want that. And so I'm not going to accept you having, calling on favors for guys that are only doing the favor because they want you in that way. That's not what I'm accepting. So, if you're not willing, that's a real problem. And I'm not going to be in a relationship with somebody who does that. So you figure it out. You figure out what you want to do with that and then see what she does. This may be a deal breaker, man. You may have to ghost that relationship. I can tell you how to game it to like convince her to not sleep with him, but what's the damn point? Is that the only standard we have? Not sleeping with somebody should be more of a standard than that, right? Let's face it. If you're a man, then you are probably dealing with problems and challenges with women. Now, I've got some good news and some bad news for you. Your success with women literally boils down to one thing. The bad news is, if you don't have it, nothing else will work. All of the money, good looks, and all of the best pickup and game skills out there will fail without you mastering this one thing. And that one thing is frame. The answers to ending your pain and suffering and to start living an amazing life with women is just one click away. Click the link and let's get started. She needs to be seeing your relationship as something she needs to protect. And that's what you need to convey to her. All right. And so if she doesn't understand that, then you need to convey that. No, you shouldn't convey anything. Really, there should be no relationship at all. And you guys should be seeing each other. And this is something you should have figured out before. If she's had this orbiter texting her before and this and that and the other, before I'm giving my commitment away, I simply say, like, hey, I don't get in, just I wouldn't get into a commitment with a girl who doesn't know how to have healthy boundaries with other men in her life. You make that statement at some point in your normal conversations. And that's it. And if she's, wanting a commitment and she doesn't seem to have healthy boundaries, I might say, and she's pining for that commitment, I might ask the question like, all right, well, I know you say you want this commitment, but I got a few guys who keep blowing your phone up. I need to know what's the story behind that, because to me, it seems like you're still out there and dating. At least you entertain these friendships and these relationships with guys that it would appear want something out of you. So, explain that one to me. You know what I mean? You're not being insecure by saying that. That's bullshit. Why? Because she's going to whine about it. So now you're insecure. Listen, women use the term insecure as a way of shaming men into getting what they want. Do not fall for that. If she throws the word out insecure, you kick her out of your house. I'm not, you know what? It's not insecure to expect that you would maintain healthy boundaries in relationships, and I'm not going to put up with it. So just get out of my house, and then, I'll talk to you in a few days, but I'm not going to sit here and listen to this and be name called by you and be criticized by you because you're not getting your way right now, or because I'm challenging something you're doing. That's not how this is going to go. That's not how two adults have a conversation or even have a conflict together. So if that's what we're doing, I'd like you to go. You see what I mean? Look, you don't have to accept. You not only do you not have to accept it, do not accept people crossing your boundaries. And don't be afraid to verbally express that. There's this bullshit going around the space that if you verbally say something, there's something wrong with you somehow. It's the way you say it. That's how you present it. Don't let women use the word insecure to shame you into doing stuff. Because next thing you know, her orbiter is fixing up her garage and you're sitting here at work while you're working 15 hours a day wondering what she's doing. It's never a position you should ever be in. Again, she has to have healthy boundaries. It's up to her to prove and demonstrate that this is not somebody that I have an interest in, and I keep good boundaries with this guy. That's up to her to demonstrate, not for you to try to prove or to explain to her or any of that. And so you just express, hey, again, prior to the relationship, well, I know you say you want a commitment, but you got a few guys kind of blowing your phone up, and I don't know that relationship. How do I know you're not still dating right now? I mean, if you want to be in a commitment, I'm a bit unsure right now about that, because you seem to have other things going on, and never asked. I'm not insecure about it, but it is what it is. But I mean, if you want to be exclusive, I got to meet some of these people. I got to understand what's going on there. And then she's going to question that and you say, well, it's just, I don't give my commitment away to somebody who's not acting like they're in a commitment with me. And I'm not saying that that's you right now, but I need clarity, because I expect my woman to maintain healthy boundaries with other men. And I'm not saying you have unhealthy boundaries, but I don't know what those are. And that's something that you need to, demonstrate to me and show me and tell me what's going on there, because we've never really talked about it. And then you just shut up and listen and let her talk. If you got to make more a statement of fact again of what it is, that's okay. But you're not there to instruct her or be her teacher, because she knows a lot of these things. She just wants to fall into the pattern of using men as resources or using men as leverage. And that's a normal female pattern, but you're not going to accept that if she's in a relationship with you, because it's not a healthy behavior, right? And so that's where we're at. And that's what you kind of have to do. So what do you do about this guy then? Well, nothing. You see what's going on. Okay. You let whatever happens. Her problems are her problems. She figures out the garage issue on her own. And if she calls a dude, that's her male orbiter, well, then you pull away your energy, your time. You hear about that, you say, you know what? I appreciate that you want to get this done, but I'm not okay with you bringing another guy over that, by my estimation, isn't really your friend. If you got a problem with that, want to talk about that, then come on over and we'll deal with it, And that's it. You set a boundary, okay? And that she's not going to maintain it, and she's going to have this dude over. She's going to entertain this guy, and there's an unhealthy relationship there. You need to execute a breakup and start seeing other women. I know that's a tough thing, or stay in the relationship while she sees other men and uses them as leverage. I mean, those are your options. This is something that need to be sorted out before you're in a relationship with her this long, but now you're here. And so now these things need to be more or less expressed and set out for you. Okay. It's not weak. It's not beta to have boundaries. That is bullshit. Okay. It's not insecure to say, listen, this relationship you got with these dudes right now, it's not okay with me. Now, I'm going to back something up here. You got to make sure you're not being, of course, oversensitive about it and that you're misreading the situation. And now here's the end of the video because I'm late for my appointment already. Hopefully he'll be okay with that. But you want to, it's like if she's keeping healthy boundaries, she can use, I don't want to say use, but she can have these guys around and help out and do things for her, whatever, as long as she's not signaling something different. As long as she's not giving her emotional and sexual attention to this guy, right? So, for example, let's say there's a guy, that works with your LTR, and he says, you know what, I'll go pick up some of those things that you needed and I'll bring them over the house. Okay, cool, thanks. That's fine. Let her have that guy do that for her. So what if he's an orbiter? In that case, when he brings him over, she can introduce him to you, and he'll be, jealous that you're with her while he's pining and doing things for her, and that's fine. Okay, and so go ahead and let that happen. You can use these orbiters as a resource. All right. You can use them to your advantage. She has that guy that's an orbiter that volunteers. Hey, bring a car to my shop. I'll fix it for free. Yeah, cool. Bring it over. Take it over there. Let me know how that works. As long as she's not giving that guy sexual and emotional attention in a way to get him to do these things and giving the appearance of impropriety, then who cares? If she's put him in the friend zone, then that's where he sits. And she's not going to think otherwise unless you give that guy more credibility than he deserves by acting threatened. Listen, it's the orbiter thing. It's not about the other dude. It's about her and her behavior. All right. Now, in this case of this guy coming over to want to fix her stuff, or who she would call for that, well, is she giving this guy sexual or emotional attention to get him to want to do things for her? Has she done that in the past, or was he an option, or did he see her as an option in the past and she fueled that, and now she's using that relationship in order to get this guy to do things for her? Is there an appearance of impropriety? Is there an appearance that this guy in her, there's something more going on to the outside world, and that she's not doing anything to protect that? Is it a situation where she's bringing this guy in on purpose because she knows it'll upset you because you won't do these things for her, and it's being done as a manipulation? These are all things that indicate you need to put her on ice a little bit and demonstrate that if she doesn't change that behavior, she's not going to have a relationship much longer. And if she still refuses or doubles down or digs her heels in, then maybe getting out of that relationship is the answer. Okay. And so that is where you need to be at. You need to evaluate what this relationship is with this orbiter, and you need to decide if she is setting healthy boundaries or not. And if she is not, you need to express that and execute consequences. And if that eventually leads, and I'm not saying just break up with her right away, but if that eventually leads to her not doing anything to change what she's doing, and in fact, doing more of it and doubling down on it, then what she's saying is that her ability to have male orbiters and her relationship with this guy is more important than her relationship with you. And therefore, you need to execute the ending of that relationship. It's just the way it is. Now, if she's if she's changing her behavior to fit into your frame, then good. Okay. That's exactly what you're looking for.